You and your squeaky chair. Welcome back to Anarchy in the Ukulele. Me and Paolo again.
Hey.
We've got what you might call an amp stack.
Yeah, I like it.
It's an amp stack like never seen before, I think. It's pretty awesome. I'm like, oh... Do you know what we're going to do? We're not going to do it today because we're about to go home. But another day, we're going to stack all these amps up and we're going to connect them all together and play them all at once.
Outside?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not sure the little ones on the top's going to actually do anything. What's this video called? It's how to choose an amplifier for your ukulele.
Yeah.
So we've got lots of different types. And we're just going to run you through what each of them do and why they're different. Well, a little bit of how they sound, but it's quite hard to translate that when you're not in the room over a microphone. But we'll do a little bit of that. But really, it's what you might use each one for.
Yeah.
So let's start off with this little bad boy on the top, which is a little flight amp. And we'll put all the details up on screen because I can't read that.
I'm trying to remember now. It's a T1 or something.
It's a T1NY0 possibly.
A tiny.
A tiny.
Tiny. T1NY. Tiny.
I'm waving it around for Bongo Boy. Here you go, Bongo Boy. There, I'll hold it still.
Flight tiny.
Yeah. And this is like a little Bluetooth speaker, but you can plug your ukulele into it as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to give us a blast on that?
Yeah.
I'll hold the amp stack.
Yeah. This is nice. It's 3 watts or 1 watt, 3 watts, I think.
Yeah. Give us a blast on that, and I'll mic it up.
It's
here.
It doesn't have reverb.
No,
but it sounds very.
It's a straight sort of amp.
Is it coming out?
Yeah, yeah.
Clear, isn't it?
Yeah, so it is. These are great.
Yeah, they're really good.
About £40-ish. They vary, so again, we'll have a look.
Hard to get in the UK, apparently.
I think Music Room used to sell them. We possibly bought it from them, or the Southern Ukulele Store had some. But it's what's the purpose of this? And this one I do struggle with a little bit. Because it doesn't amplify anything that loud, and if you whack it right up, it distorts a little bit.
Yeah,
it's the sound coming from it is very similar to the sound that you're getting from the ukulele.
Yeah.
So there's a lack of bass end, which there is a lack of bass end on ukuleles compared to guitars or some other instruments, but. So it's the purpose of this. I think this is really, it's kind of to have at home if you want to boost the sound a little bit.
Yeah.
I guess if you were in a ukulele group and you, for whatever reason, you needed to boost your sound a little bit, it could work for that.
Yeah.
But I think it's not loud enough to use as a outside amplifier particularly.
I mean, I've used it for when I teach on Zoom.
Yeah.
If I used a silent guitar that I wanted to plug in, I used it for that. And also if you're at home, if you want to use an effects pedal.
Yeah.
It's perfect for that, but not be too loud.
Yeah.
You can also use it as a Bluetooth speaker, which is very handy. But I don't think it's loud enough to go busking with.
No, so I think that's the thing. It's
not quite.
I'm not using the word desktop amp because we're going to get on to what people call desktop amps in a minute. But it kind of is. It's a smaller version of a desktop amp. You might be playing along. So I guess if you wanted to play along with a track or something at home and you wanted the volume up a little bit and then you wanted to boost yours to kind of match. If you were playing like a backing track through a sound system or something, that could work for you.
Yeah,
that could work quite well. So that's a small little amp. Like I say, it's really home use, isn't it? I think that's what we're saying with that.
Yeah. It's also good because you don't have to plug it in. So if you're travelling somewhere, it's a lithium battery that lasts quite a long while.
Yeah, it's rechargeable. I mean, I don't think you've ever charged it.
I don't think I have ever charged it. And I've just put Bluetooth on.
Yeah.
And it's held.
Okay, so that's why I'm going to take them off the stack. I'm going to dismantle the stack as we go.
Stack it in the opposite direction.
No, we're not going to do that now. So just get rid of that one for me. So next up, we've got these two here, which it's a Yamaha THR, I think it is. Again, we'll put them on screen. So this is a little Yamaha desktop amp, and then we've got the Positive Grid Spark. These are very similar. They're quite similar in price, a couple of £100-ish. Again, prices will vary. Now these differ a little bit from that one because these have a lot of built-in effects and things like that with them. These are guitar amps. The Flight one is marketed purely for ukulele, which is interesting. That's the only amp that I know of that's purely for ukulele that I know of. But
Yeah.
I mean, comment if there's others because maybe we'll get hold of one and have a look.
Yeah.
So these are designed for guitar. Don't let that put you off.
Definitely not.
But they're both designed to work with an acoustic guitar as well. And the idea with these are desktop amps. You'd have them on your desktop, at home, wherever. You can use them for various purposes. You could use them, like I was just saying, you could be playing backing tracks and play along. These are both really good at actually playing the backing track at the same time. So they've both got either Bluetooth input or an auxiliary input on there. So you could plug your computer or something into them, play the backing track without any effects on that at all, and then put your ukulele through and have all the effects on your ukulele. This one's just for show today because I can't find the lead for it, but they both do the same thing. So that's the Yamaha. The other thing with these is they're really good for recording. They both act as recording interfaces, and most of these desktop amps seem to do this now. So you can plug a USB into your computer, plug your ukulele into here, and you can record the output of this. This one's particularly good because this will record two separate outputs. It will record a very clean one, which is basically just your ukulele. But it will also record a separate one to whatever effects you're doing. So you can put as many effects on this as you want, but you've still got the clean signal if you decide, oh, I overdid it, or I want to process it on the computer. So they're really good little recording interfaces just to get a really nice ukulele sound from a pickup.
Yeah, one of my students did that, and he just ran it straight into Audacity, which I think is free software. And yeah, it sounded really, really clean.
This one runs on batteries as well, which is great. I don't think that one does, but I think they now do a smaller version of that does run on batteries. Or it has a rechargeable battery. And still sounds as good. So there is a smaller version of this one now.
Really, are you sort of busking stroke small band domain, aren't
the
they?
Battery ones are. This one doesn't actually run on batteries. So again, I think these are great for recording interfaces. This comes with an app. But I mean, what we're not trying to do is sell you the idea of these particular amps. It's the idea of you've got like this personal amp, you've got a desktop amp. So the desktop amps, let's have a little play. Well, you were playing this at the top, weren't you? So. So that's with a bit of reverb on. There's all sorts of effects you can put on that. You can have high gain things with, distortion and things like that. I mean, let's do a bit of that. If we wanted a distorted sound. I've got a switch that I could just turn Paul off with.
Beautiful.
So this, again, the thing with this is it's pretty loud, but I wouldn't say, one, this isn't suitable for busking because it's not been battery powered. This also, I wouldn't say something that you'd gig with.
No, I think you'd struggle to get over drums.
If you've got an audience as well in a large room, they're going to eat up the sound really quickly, and this probably isn't going to be powerful enough. So it really is an at-home amp. This one, I think, anyway. But again, it's got loads of effects for you to play around with, different styles and everything else. And so you've got the high gain settings, you've got the clean settings, you've got delay, you've got reverb, you've got modulation effects built into that. Comes with an app for you to play along with backing tracks. It's a Bluetooth speaker.
That's what it was originally sold as, wasn't it? That was the main feature that they sold it on.
Oh, it was, and it's a great feature. But the whole point of this is the desktop kind of side of it. Usable at home if you want a bit more volume than the Flight amp or similar to that.
Yeah.
But really, if you want to play around with effects, if you don't want to go down the effect pedal route, which if you just want to play around and you just want a nice bit of reverb and maybe a bit of delay,
yeah,
a desktop amp like this or the Yamaha or any of the other makes, Katana make one, which is Boss. I think Fishman make one. I think they're called Black Star. I can't remember what they're
Black Star.
Yeah, I think they make one.
Yeah.
So everyone, Vox make one as well now. So Fender will do. I think they do a little one, but I've not seen the Fender one yet.
But you think like years ago to get something that loud, you had to have an amp 3 times the size.
Well, people would have big amps like the two that we're going to come on to
Yeah.
in their living room at home
Yeah.
and never be able to play through them because of how loud they were. Whereas this,
Yeah.
you get that sound. So that's the desktop amp.
Really easy to store as well. You
Really
know, it's
easy to store.
Sort of fit away nicely.
Paul,
isn't
you
it?
take that. Let's dismantle our stack. So we're now onto an acoustic amp. This is designed specifically for an acoustic guitar.
What does that actually mean?
So it's a different type of a speaker.
Right.
So for an acoustic guitar, you want a full range speaker.
Right.
In a guitar amp, such as the one below it, you don't want a full range speaker, which is why bass amps are different to electric guitar amps.
Right, okay.
Bass amps are quite often full range speakers, so if anything, this is not dissimilar to a bass amp.
Okay.
But also not dissimilar to a hi-fi speaker or a studio monitor.
Yeah.
Because it's giving you a full range of sound. So, for instance, if you were playing backing tracks, you could play it through here.
Yeah.
If you tried playing backing tracks through a guitar amp, they're going to sound pretty awful and they're going to lack the very low bass.
So here's a question for you. Do you think you need a different amp for a low G compared to a high G?
No.
No, because you've got a wider range, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's still quite narrow because it's a ukulele.
Yeah.
All said and done, it's a ukulele, so it's a
Yeah.
narrow range. So no, I don't think that would make any difference at all.
Okay.
And at this stage, from really the desktop stage down, you're talking about guitar amps anyway, which have a lower range and a low G. These ones, you can have guitar amps that don't have any effects in. I don't think they're going to be useful to anybody at this stage. So these have built-in effects, EQ. This one, which a lot of the acoustic guitar ones have 2 channels.
Okay, that's good for
Now, technically, you could plug 2 ukuleles into there.
Yeah.
So if you were doing a duo, you could both play through it, but you can also plug a microphone into it.
Oh, okay, so perfect for busking.
So, yeah.
And is one channel higher than the other?
Again, not perfect for busking because you've got no power.
Yeah.
You can
Plug it into Woolworths.
You can get battery-powered ones. They're very expensive.
Yeah.
You can get them. But great for if you were doing like a wedding gig or you were doing, an acoustic gig. They're absolutely perfect because you don't need a PA. You could just turn it with one of these. They're quite light.
Yeah.
You can plug your microphone in one. If you're a singer-songwriter, you can plug your microphone in one and your instrument in the other one.
And is channel 1 and channel 2 the same?
They're exactly the same.
Exactly
the same. So not like a normal channel 1 and channel 2 on an amplifier, which again we'll go into in a minute. You can EQ it to taste, which isn't what we're doing. We're going to do another video on how to EQ your instruments going into PAs and into amplifiers and things like that. Because I think that's quite an interesting thing with the ukulele. It does take a little bit of work to get it right.
Just give us a random effect.
A random effect. Oh, what shall we have?
Left chorus.
Well, no. Why would I give you chorus when I could give you delay and chorus? You love that, don't you?
I do love
Whenever there's chorus on, there's only one song that Paul will ever play.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this, useful if you need the volume.
Yeah.
So it's not, even though it looks different, it's not that different to a desktop amp in what's in there, the effects and the way it works. The difference is you've got the 2 inputs, so great for duos.
Yeah.
The other thing is, if you were a little jazz duo or something and you had a normal ukulele and then you had a bass, you could actually both plug into this and it would work. The same, or you could have a vocalist and a ukulele.
And it'd handle the bottom end of the bass.
It would handle the bottom end of the bass perfectly.
Because you think the bottom end of a bass, bottom E, all the way to a top whatever we've got here, I don't know, a G or whatever.
But these are full range speakers, exactly the same as a bass amp. And they're big speakers, so they do handle the bass. So yeah, an acoustic amp, really, really good for getting the volume that you might need. So if you're a gigging musician, if you're turning up, you're doing festivals or something where there's not a PA, so it'd be quite a small festival not to have a sound system.
Handle Glastonbury?
Handle Glastonbury, this one. No. But really good for that. It's got direct outputs for recording as well on the back.
Nice looking thing.
It's got the USB output as well.
Yeah.
So really, it's like the desktop amp, same functionality, but bigger and louder.
And it's solid state, isn't it?
Yeah.
Not valve.
Just for you, Paul, this is probably 100 watts, I think, this one.
100 watts. I like to know my wattage.
He does like to know his wattage.
100 watts, that's a lot. I mean, I remember when I used to play in bands, if someone rocked up with 100 watts, it was like, whoa.
Yeah. Now, that's probably nothing for a band. But
yeah.
So yeah, really, really nice for that type of thing. So that's the acoustic one. So what we've got left is we've bought you a guitar amplifier.
You've bought me a guitar amp. You are too kind.
We're bringing to you, to this video, a guitar amplifier. So let's get rid of this one. And then...
Well, look at this, baby. This is presumably for your mid-sized gigs.
No.
No?
No, I wouldn't say so. This is not... I think this is the same wattage as the Fender that we've just seen.
I assume so, because it's 100.
It's bigger.
Yeah.
This is full-on electric guitar amplifier.
With 2 speakers?
So this one's twin speakers.
12-inch.
That doesn't really make any difference to what we're doing, if I'm honest. What this one's going to give you is if you want to play some kind of rock music.
Yeah.
This is where you should be looking at a full-on proper guitar amplifier. Not full-range speakers, so no good for basses.
Right.
There's no microphone input. So this isn't if you're an acoustic singer-songwriter, this isn't the amp for you. If you're somebody that wants to play in a ukulele rock band,
then silly enough.
Then you might go through this type of thing. If you're doing something with loop pedals, you could go through this.
Yeah.
But I would suggest that, if you're doing percussive playing, I would suggest that you go with the acoustic amp because you've got that bass end for those sort of bass hits that you're going to do on the body of the instrument.
What if you?
This isn't going to do that.
What if you wanted to amplify classical music?
Acoustic amp.
Okay.
100% acoustic amp or the desktop amps, depending on what you wanted to amplify to.
Yeah.
Definitely not this one.
Okay.
I mean, Paul, you're dying for this one, and you're dying to use it. And if you could buy an amp, you want to buy the rock and roll one because it looks cool. But
doesn't say Marshall on it though.
But I'm not a fan of Marshall. But this isn't suitable.
Right.
This is really suitable for if you want to play in a band and you need to be loud and you want a bit of overdrive and things like that.
Yeah.
You can put pedals on it and things like that. But that's what this is for. Let's have a listen to what it sounds like. So this, because it's a guitar amplifier, you have a clean channel and you have an overdriven channel. Automatically, you can tell that that's got the sound more of an electric guitar to it.
Yeah.
It's very mid and trebly.
Yeah, it is very trebly, isn't it?
Yeah, and you've got that real bite to it that you get with an electric guitar. Again, we've got sort of effects and things on here. What have we got selected? We've got reverb up a minute. Yeah, maybe we can whack the treble down. What we're already getting there, give it a really good strum. We're getting distortion.
Yeah.
And we're getting that because of the type of amplifier it is. Because, even on a clean guitar sound, you want a little bit of drive creeping into there. And that's what's built into the circuits of this.
Right.
If we then swap that over to the gained channel, the overdrive channel, with that little bit on there. feedback. So that's what this amp does.
Yeah.
That's what it's designed for. That's
rocking
what it
out.
wants to do. It wants to do that rocking out. So the only time I would suggest using one of these for a ukulele would be if you're in that kind of band.
Yeah.
Because if you just want to experiment with distortion or record it, you don't need an amp this size. Go for one of these type things.
Yeah.
If singer-songwriter, go for the Fender Acoustic.
Yep.
If you just want something to give yourself a little boost at home, the little flight one might do it. Or one of these desktop amps.
Brilliant.
Only go for this if you're in a band, you want to rock out like we did last night, and it was awesome fun.
Yeah.
That's such a good time doing that.
Yeah.
My pick, if money was no object, and I wanted an amp to kind of do as much as possible, is I'd pick the Fender Acoustic.
Yeah.
Because I think this one is a great amp.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a nice looking thing. Very 70s cabinet looking.
Yeah.
I'm assuming that's where the heat comes out of the radiator.
that is a port on there, but it's a bass port. It's not for the heat to come out. It's,
it looks like a radiator.
For the bass end to come out. This one, double channel. You got the vocal channel in there, which is amazing,
perfect, isn't it? Yeah.
So yeah, hopefully that kind of, if you're thinking that you want to buy an amp, what type of amp you want to buy, hopefully that helps. If you've got any questions, pop them in the comments.
We'll do our best.
And like, subscribe, and ring the bell.
Thanks for watching.
And we'll see you next time. Go on, Paul, give us a rock.